I'm going to go over the overhead squat assessment. This is an excellent tool that I use to help me understand which of your muscles are really strong and which muscles might have a little bit more opportunity to improve and grow and change. And I can get so much information out of this particular test that I really like to use it. So I'm going to go over how you can conduct this test at home so that you can record it and send it my way so that I can just fine tune your programming even better. So now there's two different ways that we're going to start this squat assessment. The first one is if you are a little bit more experienced, then you can just go to town and jump right into the squat assessment without a chair or stool or something of that nature. Alternatively, if you are a beginner or if you have pain in your knees typically, or you just feel overly stiff, it's always a good idea to start with a stool so that you just know that you won't fall, that you're confident about where your current range of motion is. If you try the stool and you feel like, okay, cool, I could do this, then you can just nix it. So I'm gonna show it to you both ways. The first one is with the stool or chair. I'm going to line up my feet so that my toes are pointing straight forward, not turned out at all. I'm also going to line up my feet so that they are narrow and in line with my hip bones. We're not going to go as wide as our fleshy hips or even wider than that. This is not your typical squat. This is an overhead squat assessment, so we're going to go a little bit more narrow in those feet. Okay, so we're going to start with them nice and narrow. They're in line with the hip joints. Then I'm going to cover my ears to the best of my ability with my arms. And from here, I'm just going to drop into the lowest squat that I can possibly control and come right back up. Okay, I'm going to repeat this 3 times with my camera set facing me so that I can see the front of that squat. From here, you can leave your camera set up right where it is, but simply turn your chair if you need to and set that same squat up so that you are side facing the camera. Same thing, I've got my feet nice and narrow, arms up over my ears, and then I'm going to tap my thighs, not my bottom, but the tops and backs of my thighs to that chair 3 times. I'm going to repeat this once more with my back facing the camera, bringing up those arms, feet nice and narrow, and dropping my thighs, tapping to that box. Now again, this is an assessment. It gives me a lot of information about things that I can help you work on and how your body is currently moving. So try not to worry too much if it feels very difficult or and don't get into judging your results too much. If that feels pretty easy and you have more of a history of working out, you feel pretty confident in a squat, then we're going to move to without any of the bench. From here, I've got my toes pointed forward. It's the same exact setup. The biggest difference here is that I'm going to try to drop into the deepest squat that I can control without lifting my heels. I'm going to do the same thing. 3 facing forward, 3 facing the side, and 3 facing backward. All right, so that is the overhead squat assessment. Couple tips for setting up your camera would be the distance from me to my camera right now is about 10 feet. You can go ahead and turn it the other way so that you get that portrait setting, but make sure that your toes are in the image and that at least up to your head. It's okay if your hands cut off when you're reaching up overhead, I can handle that, but it must include your feet. And again, the camera is about 10 feet away from me right now, and it is about chest height. So if that helps you kind of set it up somewhere where you can put it on something. If you don't have a tripod or anything like that at home, I like to just use a heavy water bottle, and let my camera rest up among it so that it's pretty up and down and, you know, not leaning forward too much at a weird angle. Okay? So that is your overhead squat assessment.